Hi, I'm Karen Moore. I am located in Massachusetts, outside of Boston. And I had stumbled upon an opportunity to buy a franchise, and it's something I had never done before. And I started to look into it and then found Terry. I'm not sure exactly how, come to think of it, but I was drawn to the process and how it's structured to help you through this decision-making process. I wasn't seeking to purchase a franchise or get involved in a franchise since I really didn't know much about it. I left employment. I can't say the words retirement yet, and I was really interested in what I wanted to do for work. Recently in my career, I developed a lot of expertise and I have an area of focus that I'm really interested in. I'm in healthcare. I've been a nurse all my life and in administration for most of it, leadership. And I have largely worked in hospitals and complex health systems. And I really, after the pandemic, I really was a cliche and I said, I want to do something now that's really meaningful. And I have always really cared about systems of care delivery for older adults. And I was thinking about starting my own consulting or coaching business. And I didn't know that you could even buy a franchise to do that. And one of the things that attracted me to the possibility of having a franchise is that there's a lot of work to standing up your own consulting and coaching business. A lot of structure to put in place, a lot of things to figure out, and that it would make a lot of sense if there was somebody actually, a way to do that more rapidly. It's a process, and the process really works. First of all, there's no pressure. You need to make it. It starts with a premise that this needs to be a decision that's right for you for the right reasons. So it's a personal reflection. And there are other components like the financial, the time, what kind of work-life balance you want, what kind of focused work that you want. The only pressure was to make a good decision, if you even could call that a pressure. And so the tools and the process that was applied really worked. And I went through sometimes like, oh, I would love to do this, love to do this. But it was important to go deeper and deeper. And the other part that was really helpful was talking to franchise owners and having been given even questions to ask franchise owners, talking to the development person within the franchise. In this particular situation, everybody was really good. And it was really clear that there was communication between the franchise and the franchisees. It helped facilitate the process. I think that it's really important, and you're encouraged to ask the questions you need to ask. And, even talking to other franchise owners, they were really helpful with how long it took them to ramp up, get a return on investment, what were the hard parts for them, what would they do differently if they had to do it over again. And I think that that ability to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. For me, it made me realize that I wish I had done this earlier in my career. First, there was some doubt in my mind, like, is this even a viable business? This is a coaching franchise, and you could be coaching any kind of business, and I have a very specific focus. But it even helped to use AI with a very structured process to say, what's the market like here? What with the those kinds of things. That was a big aha for me that made me realize that this was a good opportunity. It was a really good opportunity. I just also realized that there's a runway of time that was probably not what I needed to have, and that it would take to actually be very successful. I'm looking for something at a smaller scale. I probably would have had a little bit wider focus with the franchise business and gotten into a lot of other things. And I decided I didn't want to, at this point in my life, I didn't really want to depart much from what I really wanted to do either. So. I enthusiastically recommend Terry as a guide. He actually demonstrates the process while he's working with you. The process works, he follows the process. He's a very smart and compassionate person. Actually, there's some lessons I've learned from Terry that I'm going to carry through going forward about how to really deeply look into something and not stop before you're ready. Do a thorough decision-making process, and that applies to all aspects of life. I spent a significant amount of time on this and read big documents, and I was really pleased with the whole process. I was happy to spend the hours that I did looking at this. I feel like I had a master class with Terry, and looking at business ownership and something personal about personal decision makings about what you want to do. So you might say, what, wait a minute, what's the hook here? They made it so you could make a good decision about whether to enter or not. First of all, you can have a short meeting with them. They're very accommodating, or join a group. And that's what I did first because I like to see what questions other people ask. And then I think I had a one-on-one talk with Terry. And then they have on their website, they have so many tutorial videos, and they are like 3-minute videos on the whole process. And so you can know a lot by the time you actually then make a decision to collaborate with them. And that was really helpful.